Yeah, right, okay, so I'm here with Will Scobie. Will, how are you doing?
Very good, thank you.
Cool. I think it's not, most people know that pretty much I am not a fan of Thanet District Council. I think that there's some big issues with it, and I think that basically a lot of people want to see change. What do you think then, Will?
Yeah, I think the feeling from Thanet is that they need change. We spend a lot of time on the doorstep talking to people, going to community groups, and there's a real feeling that people are sick of how politics has been run in Thanet over a number of years, and that change is coming. I've been on Thanet District Council for the last 2 or 3 years, and things are certainly getting better, but there still needs to be change, and the Labour Party has taken steps to improve things. For example, we've just started selecting our candidates for next year, and half of the people selected so far have never been on Thanet District Council before, are new people, are fresh, some excellent new candidates, and that is going to bring some whole new impetus to Thanet District Council from Labour.
Wholeheartedly agree with.
On top of that, we've also improved how we do things as a party locally, because I think one of the reasons that UKIP are targeting this area is that many people feel let down by the main parties. They don't feel like we're listening to them. And what I have done since I was selected as parliamentary candidate for Labour 16 months ago is try to make sure that the Labour Party is out there listening to people, talking to people. So, you know, to give you an example, before the last election, the last local elections, Labour probably knocked on and spoke to 2,500 people. In the last 12 months, when we haven't had local elections or a general election, we have spoken to over 6,000 people, knocked on over 20,000 doors.
And what are the people saying?
People want change. People want change locally, and I think Labour is the only party that can offer that. I think UKIP can't. If you look at the 3 UKIP councillors on Thanet District Council, I like all 3 of them, but all of them have been long-serving Conservative district councillors. If you look at their county councillors, several of them have been long-serving Thanet district councillors for the Conservatives. UKIP are just Tories, and a lot of the local Conservatives have gone over to UKIP, and they can't offer the change that Thanet needs. The Conservatives themselves won't make the changes that need to happen in Thanet to change this political culture.
What do you think they need to do? What do you think they need to do?
The Conservatives?
Yeah.
I think they need to do what we have done, and they need to bring new candidates in, they need to freshen up their team, and they need to completely change the way they approach politics. So when I came in, Labour didn't do much campaigning online, we didn't do much door-to-door work, we didn't have street stalls in the town centre. We are now doing all of those things and making sure that we connect with people and make sure we constantly talk to people, because people feel really, really disillusioned with politics at the moment.
Disconnected as well.
And, you know, I've lived in Thanet my whole life. I got married here, I worked here, I went to school here, and I talked to people who, you know, I went to school with, I talked to people that I used to work with, and they support certain politicians, but they feel such frustration at how politics are done locally. I think that change is already happening. Iris is an excellent leader of the council. She is really improving things and has brought a whole new dynamic to the council.
I will say well done to Iris, and also I think Mike Harrison, who are both engaging a lot on social media at the minute. Dave Green as well, and I think that the people are really beginning to appreciate that. It's removing the disconnection from politics.
Absolutely. And you know, I really feel like we have at times been stuck in a rut in Thanet with regards to politics, and I am proud of the fact that the Labour Party is now listening to people, proud of the fact that the Labour Party is now responsive and actually is able to put forward policies that are going to improve Thanet and actually do something good for the area, because we are end of the line. We are an area that feels left behind, and there's a real sense of loss amongst local people about what we've had in the past. And what we need now is to look forward, have a vision for how we want our area to be, and I'm hoping and I'm absolutely certain that the Labour Party is going to be the party to lead that and win next year's elections to Thanet District Council and for South Thanet.
All right. What do you say to the argument that the traditional Labour voter is not represented by the Labour Party anymore?
I disagree. I disagree. If you talk to people on the doorstep, the traditional Labour voter, as they are so called, is talking about the fact that it's really difficult to get a job locally. They're talking about the fact that the jobs you can get are either on 0 hours contracts or on low pay. The fact that there's a real shortage of private sector housing. There's a real problems in the local NHS. That's what they're talking about. And Labour nationally has policies that are going to help improve all of those areas. And also what we're doing through the local district council is doing initiatives that are supporting that. So for example, in Cliftonville, where I represent, there is lots of great policies coming forward, such as the selective licensing scheme, which is making sure that landlords have all of the safety checks and the adequate standards on their properties. You have the Live Margate scheme, which is buying up some of the larger properties and then bringing them back into use as family homes. And you have the Margate Task Force, which brings together all the agencies to work in the area to improve it. These things are already happening, and I'm certain that with Labour hopefully going to win next year, we can really improve Thanet and do something really good for the area.
All right, the other one that's I'm quite often here, and you've just given examples of it yourself, is that Labour look after Margate. All of those initiatives you mentioned were Margate ones. What about South Thanet?
I agree with you. I think we need to be looking across the whole island, and I think there's a hell of a lot of good stuff going on in Ramsgate at the moment. We've just gone through a big clean-up of Ramsgate with the Ramsgate town team. Hopefully there's going to be some good news coming forward on other projects, and I think there's a real positivity, there's a buzz around Thanet at the moment, and what I don't want is politicians coming from elsewhere and starting to talk down our area for cheap political points. You know, I feel so passionately about our area and wanting to improve it, and it's very easy for someone else to walk into the area and go, oh wow, look at all these problems, isn't this awful? When actually I see that as such an insult to the people that have lived here, work here, and in trying to improve the area. I'm one of those people, and I feel just as passionately people knock in the area.
Well, I think that's it. Thank you very much indeed, sir. Take care.